Good afternoon and welcome back to Valley News Now. In just a few minutes, North Dakota will begin its athletics press conference live from Grand Forks. Devin Fry up in Grand Forks preparing to bring us live coverage of the press conference. And this week's press conference, we'll be hearing from North Dakota's volleyball team and football team. North Dakota football fresh off a loss in the Fargo Dome 41-17 in favor of the Bison. UND now getting ready for their next test, hosting Northern Iowa. Stand by. The press conference is expected to begin closer to 12:45. For now, stand by.
Are you cool if I tell everybody it's your birthday? Are you ready to just do it? Like before I put it on film or something like that? Yeah, I'm not gonna sing it. Okay, don't worry about that.
Damn. Next time. Like a bad Mexican restaurant where like everybody comes to the table. I got a sombrero. Just like no. Free dessert. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
You ready to rack and roll cameras?
Ready. Great to see you all again. Had two tough matches at home. We had Oral Roberts on Thursday, Denver on Saturday. Both of those matches ended up going 5 sets, and were grueling long grudge matches against both of those two teams. But awesome weekend overall. Got to see a lot of great things from our team. Got to see a lot of growth in different areas. We've got Maddie Horniak coming up next. It's not only her birthday today, but she also just climbed to 4th all-time career aces list at UND. So super proud of her and the performance that she had. But just another example of the Summit League Conference chaos that's going to go on. We beat Oral Roberts on Thursday at home after 2 close first sets that we lost, and then 3 dominant sets in sets 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5. And then they turned around and they beat NDSU on Saturday, who had swept Denver on Thursday and had swept St. Thomas the week before. And then St. Thomas goes out and sweeps South Dakota and Kansas City in the same weekend. So we know in this conference it's going to be a battle every single day. Everybody is good. And then we want to show up and be able to play our level of volleyball. And we've got a few things that we want to work on and clean up after the weekend, but we're really excited with the trajectory that we're on right now and the path that we're on. Excited this week. We have South Dakota at home on Thursday night at 7 p.m. and then we're on the road Saturday going down to Brookings to play SDSU, who's still undefeated thus far in their season. So really excited to battle 2 more really good teams as we get deeper into conference play.
Open up the questions for Coach Dubai. Looks like you're getting another freshman involved here. What have you seen from her getting into the mix now?
Yeah, Vanessa Emo has been playing for us for the last 3 matches and has done a phenomenal job stepping into the role that she's in. She's a really great athlete. She was an all-state player in California in volleyball. She was also an all-state player in California in soccer in the one season that she played out there. And she comes from this really great family of athletes. Her father was actually a silver medalist at the Olympics for Nigeria in track and field. Someone who, originally we were expecting that potentially she might redshirt this year, but after we had a couple lineup changes, and her growth and her development over the first half of the season has been phenomenal. So for her to come in and play in the spot that she's at, be able to produce offensively and with her block, has been really fun to see. And the cool part is she's only been playing volleyball since she was a sophomore in high school. And so we know that there's a lot of growth to be had, and there's a super high ceiling for her. And every day you're going to see her get better and grow in a lot of different phases, which is cool to see.
What's your approach as a coach with that many freshmen having impact for you this year? How do you handle it?
Yeah, we talked about this after the game on Thursday, I believe it was, but my first year here, we had Izzy and Paige both playing as freshmen in pretty massive roles, and then last year we had Lauren and Tegan playing as freshmen in pretty massive roles, and this year we've seen both of the Vanessas and Kala in some pretty massive roles as freshmen as well. So it's not anything that's new to us as a staff or as a team when you've got people that can come in and contribute right away earlier in their careers. For us, it's just really exciting to see, this is where we're at as freshmen, and we know that there's 4 more years of growth to be had. I think the big thing for us this year is just we have some really excellent upperclassmen leadership. And not that we didn't have great upperclassmen leadership in the past, but the last 2 years, they've also been new to me and new to our program and our staff. And so for us to have people like Elizabeth and Maddie, who have not only been here for 4 years, but have been with us for an extended period of time, means that they're able to better communicate and share information with those younger athletes so they're able to play at a really high level right out the gates.
What's the key for you if everybody's beating everybody in the Summit League, you come off 2 5-set matches, what tilts things your favor or not?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just continuing to stack good plays over and over and over. We know that our volleyball is really good. I think the Oral Roberts match is a really great example of that. It's not like we were doing anything particularly poorly in the first 2 sets against ORU. They were just playing really good volleyball too. And we knew if we kept going after the things that we wanted to go after, if we stayed true to our process and our systems, that overall our volleyball is really good. And if you can stack those good plays together over time, then you're going to have some pretty dominant performances, which is what we saw in sets 3, 4, and 5 when we beat them by 5 to 10 points a set in each one of those sets.
What jumps out at you about South Dakota? I believe that's your first home win next year.
Yeah. Another team that's kind of working through a couple different lineup changes as well. They've got some freshmen, some transfers that are playing for them, and so sometimes they're going to have really nice results, like going out and beating Mizzou and Iowa State like they did in non-conference, and other times they're going to get swept by St. Thomas on their home floor, which is something that hasn't happened in a very long time. I can't remember the last time South Dakota lost 2 conference matches in a row in the Summit League, and so we know that they're going to be good. We know that they're going to fight really, really hard and play really scrappy defense. But we also know that we've always had an edge on them in terms of our ability to game plan and prep from a scouting perspective as well. And so I think it's going to be a fun battle where you see 2 good teams going up against each other.
to force those two 5-setters on the road, kind of what's your biggest takeaway about this group, and kind of what do you think it says about this group to be able to do that?
Yeah, for us, we've been talking all year about how the team does a really amazing job fighting and battling through different moments. And when we look at the Denver match in particular, for us, it's been about stopping our opponent's runs and not letting them rattle off 3 or 4 or 5 points in a row. And there were 2 points, one in the first set and one in the second set, where there was a 5-point margin. But other than that, every single set and every single moment of that match was within 2 to 3 point set or 2 to 3 point margin. And so that's how closely both of those two programs were battling and fighting. And so for us, it was really encouraging to see that we didn't really let strings of points go against Denver, and we got battled them point for point throughout a really long match. And so that's something we haven't been able to do as well in the past. I think it's really encouraging for us to see that and know that, yeah, it's going to be a battle every single night, but we've proven that we can battle against any team in this conference.
You mentioned how wide open the Summit League is right now. How exciting is it for you to be in a league like that where it's really wide open at the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's why we do it. I mean, the reality is that 10 years ago when I first got into the Summit League, that it wasn't this way. There were a couple teams every single year that you knew you probably didn't have to play at your best to have some success. And now it doesn't matter what team you're playing or who you're going up against, it's going to be a battle, and that's fun, right? Like, we play sports because we like to compete. Nobody likes winning or losing 25-0. We want it to be 25-23. We want it to be 15-13 in the fifth set. And hopefully, as we continue to battle through those moments, a lot of those matches start to fall our way.
Coach, with the back-to-back 5-setters, what did you see from the depth of this team?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just knowing that the work that we do on Thursday and Saturday has come from all the preparation that we do on Monday and Tuesday. And some of that preparation is on the court in terms of growing our skills. Other preparation is in the film room, making sure we know our opponents and who we're playing. And a lot of it is also taking care of our bodies and making sure that we're crushing our recovery, that we're taking care of our minds as much as our muscles. And so making sure that we're crushing our recovery post-practice, we're crushing our recovery post-match, that we're taking advantage of Sundays when the weather is beautiful and fall is in the air and the leaves are falling off the trees. Like, go outside and get a walk in, right? Spend some time doing something that fills your bucket in that way as well. So I think our team's done a really nice job being really professional in that area this year, just growing their ability to take care of themselves so that they can be great when it's required of them.
And with Norris having first success and climbing the rankings, and so has Maddie, how important is it that to have players like that can show the way to your younger players?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think for our team, we've got a lot of really good servers on this team, and so for them to see the success and the recognition that Maddie's getting is just further confirmation for them. Like, hey, keep grinding, keep your nose down. Like, when you do these things, these are the results that you get. And to have our younger athletes that are currently on the team able to look up to those upperclassmen in that way, to have some of our committed athletes that will be joining us soon that have already talked about the impact that our upperclassmen have had on them. And it's just really encouraging to see, and just knowing that Maddie and Elizabeth have had a huge impact in their time here, but that impact is going to continue long after they're gone as well. It's awesome.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, y'all.
Good deal. Alright, we are joined by the aforementioned birthday girl, Maddie Horniak. Open up the questions for Maddie.
I would say. 2 5-setters, what to you is most important difference between winning that and losing that?
Yeah, I think it's just stringing as many good points as we can together. I think stopping the other team's runs, like Jesse said, but how good can we be on our side and not let what the other team is doing affect how we play. I think we are a team that is going to play to the last point of the game, and that shows in the 5-set matches. So how can we continue to bring points together and go on our own runs?
Do you view your role any differently as more freshmen are getting into the mix, as one of the more experienced players?
Not really. I just do what I can to help anyone, whether it be a fellow senior or going down to a freshman, whatever I can to spread my knowledge of the game and my confidence of what we're supposed to be doing with our systems. Whatever I can do to help the team is what I'm going to do.
What was your biggest hurdle to overcome as you first got acclimated to college volleyball as a young player?
Yeah, I think just growing my confidence as a player, knowing that I put in a lot of work to be where I am and have helped my teammates along the way. So just growing in my confidence so I can spread that to other people.
Going back to the fifth set of the Denver game, final point falls. Kind of just what's the feeling like after surviving a game like that, a 5-set contest like that? What's the overall feeling like after a matchup like that?
It would have been nice to win, but proud of what we did. Be proud of what we did to fight to the last moment, to go to that 5th set and be in it till the last point. So I think we took a lot of good things away from that match and don't need to be defeated and have all those good things keep us going into this next weekend.
How proud of you are you? How proud are you to see where this team's at right now? Suddenly it's wide open right now. You guys are give yourself a fighting shot for it early. Kind of just how proud of you are where this team's out right now?
I'm super proud. I think we've put in so much work, not only on Thursday and Saturday, but Monday and Tuesday is where all the work happens too. So I think we're doing a great job doing what needs to be done in practice, but also recovery, getting extra sleep, getting our homework done. All the little things that go into it to make it successful. I think we've done a great job.
As a player, when you're this early in league play, you kind of see where everybody's at right now. How do you kind of shut that out and just kind of focus on the game?
I think it's motivating. I think just knowing that we're focusing on the next game at hand and the next ball. So every game is a new one, and every night anyone can take it because we're all working hard. So how do we just do what we need to do?
When you play in a 5-setter, what's the biggest takeaway that maybe a fan doesn't notice? Like, how much energy does it take to play in a 5-set match like that?
It takes a lot of energy, a lot of work. I think having that energy and building on it can take the momentum away from the other team. So being able to give that to your teammates and celebrate all the little things, good or bad, can be a game changer.
And how's the locker room feeling right now? Long season, ups and downs. How are you guys feeling right now?
We're good. I think we're as connected as we've ever been. We're all motivated to get going on the season and get some wins under our belt.
And you guys are getting ready for South Dakota. What's the biggest thing that you want the younger players to know about when it comes to hey, coming off of back-to-back 5-setters, like keeping up that energy and that momentum?
Yeah, I think we highlight all the good that we do. I think remembering the good, forgetting the bad, and moving on, and knowing that Thursday is going to be a tough game just like every other game. So how can you take what you did well and take what the team did well and keep that rolling?
Perfect. Thanks, Manny.
Thanks.
Bubba Schweiger will take the podium next. Please stand by. North Dakota football will be coming up.
A lot of people that lives were shattered by the fires, and I'm gonna be honest, didn't really know what was going on till Sunday night. So we're thinking about them now. Let's get to football, and I'm just gonna say this: I got to do a better job to get our team ready to go on the road and play highly ranked teams in the country We didn't get off to the start we'd like, and that's part of preparation. So, I'm going to take a look at how we're preparing and let you guys know after the game. I love our team. I really do. I think our guys work hard. They're connected, and I got to work hard and try to find a way to get us prepared as best we can for our next game and for the games after that. We're midway point of our season. I think the open week comes at a really good time for us. It's a chance for us to develop some depth. It's a chance for us to heal and evaluate where we're at on offense, defense, and special teams. And the message to the team yesterday, we tried to get into a routine and stay really committed to that routine. And we had our corrections practice, but now our focus needs to be on two things: us and preparing for Northern Iowa, because our next game is a team that really took it to us a year ago, and we got to be ready for that and really get prepared and take advantage of the extra time to get ready for UNI.
Open up the questions for Coach Schweiger.
Coach, you faced two opponents in that home stretch, I think, that were coming off of buys. Did you notice kind of different wrinkles to them as what you prepared for versus what you saw?
Yeah, a little bit. When you have extra time, you can probably put a few things in and study your opponent really a bit more. But the big thing is you probably get guys back. It's personnel, because you get guys back that if they had to play another week a little banged up, how are they feeling that next week? So I believe you see some different things, but nothing major. Teams are who they are, and we're always going to see new wrinkles. But when you have that open week, there's probably time to put a few more things in. But I think the big thing is health-wise. You can get some people back, so the personnel changes.
What do you think is the biggest key to kind of ironing out some of the issues in the passing game that didn't quite get to take off there in North Dakota State?
Yeah, I think we're getting better, and Simon's getting better. He's improving. And I'll tell you, that last 2 minutes of the game was important for our football team. To get the fourth down stop, to get our offense out there and be able to run a 2-minute drill. That's the first time we got an opportunity to do that this year, and we're going to use those situations to get our team better. We got to be concerned about how do we get our team better at all times, and I felt that was an opportunity to do it. And if other people feel that was wrong to do that or take advantage of that time, that's fine, because we're going to do what we feel is best for our team. So we think that helped us and helped Simon. It helped our team to get into that routine and that situation, to throw the ball, play after play.
Were you limited at all in what you could use Isaiah Smith in that game? I know maybe you kind of mentioned that after the game a little bit. How did that dynamic play out?
Yeah, he got banged up early in that game, and that affects you offensively. We didn't have Donovan Hunt available, and now we're down to 3 backs. But we're going to get some health reports here later in the day, and we have a week here to get guys ready again. But we were limited. He went a little bit late, but he sure wasn't 100%.
How different can you be when you can balance all 3 of your top 3 backs versus maybe when health dictates some of that?
I think it helps us. We talked about it before, and to have 3 healthy guys that are explosive and really top guys. We just think we have really good depth at running back, and they really can make big plays. I thought Gavin had a really good day on Saturday, and we know what Zay did the week before and throughout his career here. He's a big play guy, and his first carry was really good. He got out in the open and made a play for us, and then we have Sawyer. So when those 3 are healthy, we think we have a really good trio that we can get the ball to, and Donovan's made good progress for us. So the running back depth, and you're going to need running backs get banged up. Carrying the ball in college football, and there's guys, 11 guys cruising toward you to tackle you, and it's going to be physical, and you're going to get banged up. So we need good depth in that room.
And kind of building off that, you had mentioned earlier that the bye week gives you an opportunity to work on your depth. How do you do that?
Well, I think some of these first-year guys are going to get some reps this week because we got to get some guys ready to help us. We've used some special teams. We haven't really used them in positions yet, but we're going to need to because you got to take advantage of that 4-game rule, and that's important to get those guys ready. So that's how you do that. I think you give them the reps and cut back on some of the more experienced guys' reps, but some of our younger guys still need reps and still need to improve, on both sides of the ball. But we can get some first-year guys in there and get them some reps this week.
You mentioned evaluating your group at this point. Looking at offense specifically, just with the change of offensive coordinator and a change at a pretty key position of quarterback right before the season started, how would you assess offensively how this team is looking?
Yeah, I'm happy with our progress. I think we've, played physical, hard-nosed football. We've run the ball effectively. Saturday was disappointing. We didn't run it very well early, and then we got going and had a really good drive where I thought we were really physical and, got into the end zone and got another drive that we kicked a field goal before half and, had to get out of our game there in the second half when the point spread gets that way. You get out of the game plan a bit, but we're pleased with our progress. I think we're getting better, and this game should help us if we use it the right way. This is really a great opportunity for growth because we can evaluate how we're doing against a top team in the country at their place, So when things are hard, you really get a good look and can evaluate how you're doing and what you need to do to get better.
Do you think there was some difficulty for you guys getting back on the road after so many games at home?
I really don't think so. It's a 70-mile bus trip. We got to, give credit. Our opponent's a good opponent that you're going down to play, and it's a tough place to play. And I was proud of our guys. I think we had one 5-yard penalty in that game, in that environment, which is pretty good discipline, and that's really helped our team that we haven't had a whole lot of 5-yard penalties this year, so you can stay on schedule. We try to really limit our negative plays on offense. We did a pretty good job of that. We just didn't have enough explosive plays offensively to really get momentum going, and obviously got down 14-0 that, but got it to 14-7 and 21-10. I thought the field goal was important, and then the big key, we wanted to come out the second half and drive and get a score, and we turned it over, and that happens sometimes.
You mentioned the field goal being important for him to make it from that distance in that kind of environment. Just what kind of a weapon does that bring to your team?
Yeah, I think, we have confidence in CJ. He's hit some big ones in his early career, and that was another big one he hit at that time in the game. It was important that we scored. It's from out there at 45, and he hit it well. We feel like he has pretty good range that we could try it from that distance for sure, and even a little bit longer field goals. So anytime you give guys opportunities and they perform well, it's going to build their confidence and build our trust.
Just want to get your thoughts on the timing of the bye week. It seems pretty ideal early in conference play, sandwiched between two traditionally pretty strong opponents. Just your thoughts on the timing of it.
Yeah, it couldn't be more perfect in my mind. The way things have worked out, it gives us some time to heal here, and our 4 games before the North Dakota State game, they were really physical games. A lot of plays, the week before, we played a lot of plays because of the way the game went. So you got to recover from playing a lot of plays and then play a really physical game against North Dakota State. So it's right in the middle. I don't know if you could plan it any better. Now, if you were really, really healthy, you'd say it a little bit differently, but we got guys banged up right now, so it gives us a little extra time.
Coach, going into the bye week now, what's the message the team is? You guys get ready for Northern Iowa, but you also have a time to rest out.
Yeah, 2 things. It's really 3. But the first 2 things are we should be concerned about us, and we should be concerned about preparing for Northern Iowa. And really, as I told the guys in the locker room after the game, this is an opportunity for real growth in our football team. And we put in a lot of time with our leadership council. We put a lot of time in with our captains. We spent a lot of time with our team connecting. And when you're getting favorable results on the scoreboard, those connections are easier to build upon. When you get an unfavorable result, which you prepare hard and want things to go well and it doesn't go how you would like it, now it's really important. Are we really connected? Are we really going to fight for each other? Is this going to bring us closer? That's the growth we're looking for. So we have an opportunity for that right now.
And then a final question I have is, you know, it was Rumfo's first conference game, you know, outside of the Lair Center. You know, what was it like to be able to see, you know, the growth in him and you know, play, you know, even though it wasn't the result you guys wanted, but seeing him go out there in a hostile environment?
Yeah, I thought he handled it well. I'm just really proud of him, and I say it week after week. He's tough. He prepares hard. Our team really respects how he goes about his business, and they'll play their butt off for him. I really believe that, and I love the kid. I really do.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next we'll have defensive coordinator Joel Schmitzfire. All right, Coach, we can start with an opening statement kind of as we reach the open week and kind of halfway through this season.
Yeah, it's like Coach talked about there, it's a good time of the season, kind of having an open week here where we can kind of get our guys back, kind of looking at ourselves a little bit in the mirror and kind of doing some self-scout and evaluating kind of where our strengths and weaknesses are and some areas that we need to improve. And the other big part of it's getting our guys back and healthy, getting our team back together here. We're a little dinged up here at a couple of different positions, but I feel like this is a good week for our guys to get back health-wise and to start getting back to work and developing some depth here.
All right, open up the questions for Coach Schmitzfire.
Coach, what made it so difficult to get maybe consistent pressure on Cam Miller last week?
Yeah, they did a good job of getting it into third and manageable downs where we should have been better probably on first and second down and getting some longer down and distances. They do a good job of keeping you off balance there where they'll go between the Q run game and getting the ball out quick, where they're tough to get pressure there. Even if you do bring it unblocked, he'll get it out quick. And then he made a couple plays. We got to him twice and we missed him once where he evaded a pressure. We could have got him sacked there on a third and long, but he's a good player. He makes really good decisions, quick decisions where it's tough to get to him there. And yeah, it was just tough in some of those down and distances to try and generate some pressure there.
Now, as we've reached this bye week, is there anything that surprised you about where you guys are at, good or bad? Just anything that maybe isn't exactly lining up with your preseason expectation?
Yeah, I think we've developed some depth within our D-line with some of even with the injuries that we've had there. That have been a nice surprise. Some of the guys that have come along, some of our transfer guys, and even some of the young freshmen have done a good job contributing there. Outside of that, the guys that we were kind of expecting to be our playmakers have been Josh Nabertil and Wyatt Pettigo and Malachi McNeil and Casey Kelly. Our linebacking group has done a really good job of being some playmakers. And then, you know, in the secondary, Devin Hembry and Antonio Blue, granted, they didn't have as great of a game as you wanted yesterday or on Saturday, I should say. They've been playmakers for us and doing a good job there of challenging receivers and allowed us to do more things on defense.
You know, Coach talked about using this week as an opportunity to get some first-year players a little more comfortable. Is that applicable on the defensive side of the ball, or how do you see that?
Yep. No, that's actually probably the biggest thing that we're going to try and do here is try and bring some of the younger guys along to be able to get some more depth and be able to rotate a little bit more in certain positions there. And obviously getting back into some of the base playbook stuff where they can really hone in on some fundamentals and have that good understanding so we can start using them a little bit more. And if it's maybe just a 4-game thing where we use them or even maybe more than that, this is a good week for those guys to get developed.
Kind of when you're going up against a quarterback like Cam Miller, it's kind of how do you begin to focus in on that? Obviously, hindsight being 2020, kind of what do you think were the biggest things to prepare for there?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's seen it all. He's played a lot of football, so it's tough to give him stuff that he really hasn't seen or hasn't handled before. It's just trying to get them off their script and try and get them into more manageable down and distances, which is tough because they have a good run game. They keep it tough in there with the big personnel to try and bring more than they can block at times. And then the big thing there is just trying to change the picture on him and try and generate pressure through that way. But he's a good player. You got to give him credit. He makes some plays, and he made some big plays on Saturday and got himself out of some trouble when we did get there on the two of them, and really could have maybe got our hands on a couple of balls there too early in the first half that you kind of forget about until you look back on it, where we could have had an interception here or there that maybe could have changed that first half for us. And the big thing there would generate some momentum on defense too. They kept us so off balance there with getting it to 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, where it was tough to gain any momentum there.
Going up against the number 2 team in the country in their stadium, and what do you think the biggest takeaways could be for your guys coming out of that, especially as you move forward into the always tough Valley schedule here?
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys battled yet. That was the encouraging part. They didn't back down. They kept fighting all the way through, and they finished strong at the end of the game there. It was just like I challenged our guys on Sunday. We got to make plays when they're needed, and these games are just going to come down to 1 or 2 or 3 plays, and they made a touchdown on a flea flicker, which we were in position on to defend, and they ran a double move on the opening drive to get a touchdown. We're still not in bad position. We got to make those plays. You can't just be there. You got to make the play, and that's the difference in those games. It just comes down to it's 71 plays we played on defense, but really you break it down, it's probably about 5 plays that decide that game.
Coach, for those younger players that you guys have on this roster, especially on the defensive side, what have you seen from them, from fall camp to where we're at now?
Yeah, it's been encouraging for those guys that have contributed for us. They've done a good job of learning the defense, getting in, being comfortable. My position, we've had safety. There's a lot of guys that have never played snaps at safety before in defense, and they've done a good job of being prepared, staying locked in during the week, and just kind of having a workman mentality where they're going to battle and fight and try and do as best they can and develop themselves and get ready to roll, because it's you don't know until you get into a game and see what you're at, but they've done a good job during the week of practice to prepare themselves.
And on Saturday, despite the result, when you saw that you held their rushing attack to not to what they're normally used to, how encouraging is it to see the rushing attack or rushing defense is stepping up?
Yeah, and that's a point of emphasis. We want to stop the run. That's our first thing we always look at on defense, and that's what we're going to pride ourselves on. Teams aren't going to be able to run on us. Now, granted, they still were able to get a significant chunk of yardage there. A lot of that kind of came in the second half on a couple of key run plays there. But for the most part, our guys did a good job in the box battling. Our guys up front really battled. Our D-line, our outside backers, our inside backers, and then the secondary guys that we asked to get down in the box and be the extra hats down there did a good job. But there's still stuff we can clean up in there. There's a couple of misfits that we gave them some yardage on. And, one that they got off right off 15, 16 yarder that we just misfit on the back end with our secondary, but they did battle, and which was encouraging. And it's going to be like that every week in this league, so we got to be good at it.
Anybody else for Coach? Thanks, Coach. Thanks. Last but not least, we'll be joined by offensive coordinator Isaac Frickers.
All right, well, thanks for being here today. Sorry.
We love a coach that's excited.
Ready to roll.
Right,
Ready to
yeah.
get going here. So sorry about that.
Now we're good. All right.
Now we're good.
You're good.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming. Glad to be here. Just want to say how fun it's been to be a part of this group and to work with this group every week. And it's been a lot of fun. They've been hungry. They've been motivated. The last week didn't turn out how we wanted it to, but they're still motivated and excited to continue to work and grow and get better. And our job is to continue to be disciplined and try and keep striving for excellence. And that's our plan. That's our motivation. And every day we got to keep doing that. So it's been a good group to be around. We got to keep working, keep getting better.
Questions for Coach Frickers?
Coach, what coming out of that Bison game, what do you need to be better at, you think, offensively?
Well, I think we got to get back to the basics. You play a team like that, that's what they're best at. We talked about it on Friday night in our offensive team meeting, that when you play somebody who's a top 5 team in the country, year in and year out, they do a great job of hand placement, foot placement, eye placement. That's the techniques and the fundamentals and the discipline of their craft. And when you play somebody like that, that's what you have to hone in on and be the best at. And You know, I think that's the emphasis, you know, since I've gotten here, is for us to be a disciplined program and continue to strive to be tough and disciplined through everything that we do. But you see it really show up, like Coach said earlier. You know, it's probably only 5 plays. I know the score doesn't emulate that, but when you look at it, you go back, you review the film. There's a play here, play there, where if our pad level's better, our hand placement is better, our eyes are better, we're in a different ballgame. And you know, I think that's the encouraging thing with our guys, is that they're excited to get back to work and get after it this week and learn.
I have one more.
Yeah.
Coming off Murray State,
Yeah.
you guys score 72 points, and then it doesn't go as easily against North Dakota State. Is that difficult for an offense to adjust from things are going really smooth? Do we, you know, does it not train us properly coming off a game like that? You know, was it difficult, you think, coming off 72 points Murray State to a big game like the Bison?
They're all tough. They're all difficult. Week to week, the game plan changes, but there's always something that's very similar. You know, I think what we continue to talk about, especially in the quarterback room, is that at times you got to go back to your base teachings, because yeah, there might be a different RPO read or a different route combination or a different insert example with a scheme, but at the end of the day, we're still trying to affect the defense in one type of way. And when you look at going from scoring a bunch of points to not scoring very many, you know, to be honest with you, it's like we said at the beginning of the week, you got to go back to your base teachings and try and categorize things that are the same. And when you can do that, then you can really hone in on what's important and what the technique, what the fundamental is for that play. And to be honest with you, with how young we are and how inexperienced we are, it takes time to kind of build banked reps on that. And when you look at a game like that, I don't think our guys were wide-eyed and not ready, and you know, the environment got the most of them. I don't think it was that at all. I think our guys just need to continue to get banked reps on categorizing things and kind of pooling things into a certain silo and making sure that that's their mental reps, whether it's game reps or it's on practice reps. So, you know, I say it all the time, you got to go back to the base teachings. You got to kind of have things in a funnel, in a silo where they're, you know, similar. You got to read it the same way, got to execute it the same way, got to technique it the same way. And we want to have as much same as teaching so that you don't have to relearn something every single week or every single time that there's a change in your game plan. But, you know, I think we're going to be in a good spot. Our guys are motivated and excited, but we just got to continue to get banked reps in that stuff.
Having 3 talented running backs when healthy,
Yeah.
is that something you go into a matchup saying, like, ideally maybe they all get 10 carries, or do you as a coordinator have like a hot hand feel? So,
yeah, we talk about, like, how do we want to start, who do we want to start with, what plays are for each kid, you know, and then ultimately, kind of like you said, we're going to ride the hot hand. You know, if somebody gets going, we want to try and do our best to keep them going and keep them rolling within reason, because they are a real good 1-2-3 punch with complements to each other, and they all have different skill sets that make them really, really tough to defend. You know, and the fact of the matter is that we got to do a better job of you know, giving them creases and helping them out. And you know, I think at times everybody looks at the offensive line and says, man, the O-line didn't do this, that, or the other thing. Well, there's tight ends, there's fullbacks, there's quarterbacks that can throw the football to get you out of bad boxes. There's receivers that can make blocks on the edge that can help. You know, I just think it's a collective thing. And when you look at us offensively from 2 weeks ago to just this last week, a couple days ago, we just weren't consistent enough. And that's where we got to continue to grow in our discipline and our toughness and keep fighting our butt off to keep getting better every single day, every single week.
Bubba said that this is a week for assessing, a couple months into gameplay at D1 level for you. How would you assess how things are going for you personally?
Yeah, I think they're going fine. You know, I try to be a guy that's never too high, never too low. You know, sometimes it does happen on Saturdays, especially I wear my emotions on my sleeve at times, but I hope that's because then our guys see that we care and that we love them and we're going to compete for them and challenge for them. I think we've done some good things. We've done some things that are not so good. I'm not very happy with the turnovers that we've had, and that starts with me and doing a good job of helping those guys protect the football, whether it's in the pass game or in the run game. But I think we have done some good things. Out of the weeks that we've had, we've controlled the line of scrimmage at a lot of times, and we've been a physical downhill team, and I think that's our identity up front and in our offense. And we understand that sometimes that's difficult, but with a young quarterback, it's important to run the football, be efficient in the running game, and then take advantage of play actions or RPOs when you can. And I think you see Simon getting better, and you go 18 to 23 in that building, it's pretty good for a kid making his first start down there. And we have to do a better job of taking care of the football, and that's on me. He can't fumble that one the first play out in the second half. It's not a good call. It's my fault. But I think we're doing some good things, and my job is to get them to believe, stay together, and continue to trust the process, because we got 6 games left and hopefully more. But we got to be excited about what we got moving forward, because we've done a lot of good things, and one game doesn't define you. But I'm going to continue to challenge myself to be better, to try and help our team to be better.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to it, but what goals do you have for the offensive group specifically now for the second half?
Well, the goals have been the same from the beginning part of the year. We want to be a team that scores, upwards of 30 points a game, every game. And we've done it a couple times, but that's really important to us. And we've talked about being 50% on third downs, and we've been really close. I thought that was about the only bright spot in the offensive side in terms of the game against Fargo, is we were 5 of 11. That's not 50%, I understand, but it's really close. And they do a really good job looking at their offense of being in third and manageable. And you look at the beginning part of our game on the offensive side, we weren't. We were in third and longs, and we were in third and kind of medium-ish to long distances. And in the previous games, we hadn't done that. We had been in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. And you see at times when we put a good drive together, we had the one long drive go down and score. You're in a 3rd and 6 and you run the ball and Gavin breaks it for 25. So there's times that we're getting better and we're doing good things, but those goals we're really close to capturing. Being more efficient in the red zone is something that, again, is a goal of ours. We want to score every time we're in there. And we're close. We're getting really, really close. But I just go back to what I started with. It's about the details, and it's about your technique and your fundamentals. When you play really great teams, that's the difference. It's not always the scheme or anything like that. It's about having low pads, feet in the ground, hands in the right spot, your eyes in the right spot. And it's banked reps. I'm just telling you, when you're a quarterback and it's your first time out there, it's banked reps. We throw the one to the ball on the sideline and get hit, and it's a great play, but safety's down. We should have thrown the post for a touchdown. You don't even get to the point of kicking a field goal in that drive. And those are the things, like I said, like Coach Schwensweiger said, all 5 plays you look at and you go, man, that's the game right there. Yeah, we shouldn't have even been in that situation, but that's on me to do a better job to get them ready to go and get the offense to play to the standard that they're supposed to.
Coach, obviously, Simon has a pretty good rapport with Bo. How do you get the other pass catchers to build up off that, so it's not just having to rely on Belfast?
Yeah, well, I think it's consistency. That's what Bo does, and I challenge him to be more consistent. I know our coaches do every single day, every single week, and we continue to talk about starting fast, and offensively that falls on me. We haven't done a good job of starting fast, and we got to continue to challenge our guys and try and look at the open week this week to try and do some new things. And I think you'll see that as we go through this weekend practice. We're going to do some different things to get guys different reps and challenge them to start fast, because Bo has been the picture of consistency, but even himself, we can be better, right? And again, I put that on me. That's on me to get those guys going. That's on me to script stuff the right way, to practice the right way, and because it's a direct correlation. So we need those guys to step up, but to be honest with you, it's a group effort in terms of being consistent and being disciplined to try and start fast from the beginning of Tuesday morning practice when we get out there, Wednesday morning practice when we get out there, because those are our heavy work days, and we got to do a great job of starting fast in those, because it's a direct carryover to Saturday. And that's what's important. Sorry.
No, sorry. And coach, how important is it that you have players like Quincy Vaughn that can fill multiple roles for you guys and give defenses different looks?
Yeah, he's a guy that we've talked about in the last couple of weeks of continuing to try to get the football to. And I again put that on me. I got to do a better job of getting him more involved and getting him involved early. It was important for him to go out and show, that he could make some plays, and he's always made plays. There hasn't been a question about that. But I think when you look at a young quarterback and starting in a new offense and a new system, you try and do some things to make him feel super comfortable, right, and make things simple on him. And sometimes that takes away from player, X, Y, or Z in terms of getting more touches or getting more throws, to try and help that kid feel comfortable. But, I think as you see Simon to start to feel better, start to feel more comfortable, make some more decisive decisions, you'll see those packages expand for people like Quincy. And Saturday, I think, was pretty evident. He had a huge third down conversion on the one drive. He was adamant about us sneaking the one and getting into the end zone. We had a couple different plays dialed up for him, and that's on me to do a good job in game planning to get him involved. And that's the run game and the pass game, because he does both really, really well. I've been really happy with his performance and his ability to stay positive and continue to try and mentor the young guys, because he's doing a great job with that. But I got to do a better job of getting him involved.
Anybody else for Coach? Perfect. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.